about that for a new intro? Welcome in to this edition of Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports. I am Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. It's time to touch our bags and drop our sack on this edition of the program. As you got questions, I got answers. It is a mailbag edition of the program. We will answer anything and everything that you have on your Baltimore Ravens here this weekend on the channel. Before we get going, though, a reminder, we want to make sure you subscribe to Ravens Rundown for the latest happenings on your Baltimore Ravens all offseason long with our daily news and rumors, Q&A mailbags like you're seeing here. Also, we're bringing you breaking news. Anytime the Ravens make a signing or trade, we're going to bring you a video as quick as we can. The latest happenings on your favorite team, you got to subscribe right here to Ravens Rundown, youtube.com/RavensTV. All month long, we are battling the Browns report in a sub-battle. You can see we're a little bit behind Matthew Peterson and company there. Let's show them who's boss. Let's win this sub-battle. Still got time as we head towards the bottom half of the month. Subscribe now for free. Join the family. You'll be glad you did. First question in the inbox this week comes from Ravens Fan for Life. Ravens Fan for Life wants to know, can Lamar win the MVP again? Great question, Ravens Fan for Life. You look back at Lamar Jackson's season in 2023, and the statistics you can see were not, if we're going to be honest with you, earth-shattering numbers for an MVP season, right? They weren't bad, not by any means, but they weren't over the top, right? 3,600 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, completion percentage just a hair above 67%. But the big key for why Lamar won the MVP was not the statistics, but was the product on the field. He was the quarterback for the best team in the regular season last year in the Baltimore Ravens, right? And the MVP, it's twofold. You got to be on one of the best teams in football, and you have to put up good numbers statistically. And I would say, this is not a knock on Lamar, it's just being truthful here, that the biggest reason why Lamar was the MVP was more so about the team and less so about him. Now, he did play great in the second half of the season, but that first half of the year, they were still learning this Todd Monken offense and still getting acclimated from things. Now, transition over to 2024. My belief is that you're not going to have those growing pains that we saw from the Ravens offense at the beginning of last year, that they should, in theory, pick up right from where they left off in 2023 into 2024. Granted, the receiving corps got some question marks, and I'm sure we'll talk about that coming up later, but for the most part, I expect Lamar to put up better numbers, statistically speaking, than he did in his MVP season last year. The Ravens should win a ton of games, and they're going to be the favorites for the division title to have one of the best records in the AFC. So, yeah, absolutely, Lamar can, but you still got other good talent that are going to be MVP candidates as well. When you talk about the likes of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and Christian McCaffrey and others here, it should be a competitive field, but Lamar certainly has a chance, and I think he'll even be better than what he was last year. Predicted for me, our pinned comment today, will Lamar Jackson win the MVP again for the third time in his career? I already think he's going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer at this point with those 2 MVPs he's got. What do you guys think? Is this the third one? Type Y for yes, in for no. Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Ray Lewis checking in. Good to see you, Ray. Strut on him, right? What are your expectations for Roquan Smith this year? Well, Ray, Roquan's the best linebacker the Ravens have had since you were around. And Roquan Smith, it's pretty interesting. We did a short on this on the channel a couple days ago. Encourage you to go check it out if you haven't seen it already. You look at the statistics. Although last season was Roquan Smith's best year of his career, the first time he was a first-team All-Pro and everything, these stats, 158 tackles, which sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, that was actually the lowest tackle total he's had in the past 3 seasons. Granted, he did miss one game, and the leading tackler in the NFL last year was Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks, now with the Washington Commanders. And Roquan had about 20 less tackles than Bobby Wagner did. I think Roquan is going to build upon from what he did last year. He's going to be asked to do a little bit more with Patrick Queen not there, although I'm pretty high on Trent Simpson. I think Trent Simpson's going to be pretty good. So with all that said, I do think that Roquan Smith is going to have a better season, his best season yet. I expect him to lead the league in tackles and be that guy, be the enforcer, if you will, and the leader of this Ravens defense. I have high hopes for Roquan Smith this year. I think he'll build upon what he did last year. Let's play fact or fiction here on the program. What do you guys think? Roquan Smith will lead the NFL in tackles. Is that a fact or is that a lie? Is that fake news? Is that fiction? Weigh in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Type fact for fact. Type fiction for fiction. Let us know. Nate Wiggins jerseys on sale now at chatsports.com/Wiggins. Trade in that one for the number 2. And I got to tell you, I'm very excited about what Nate Wiggins is going to do this season in Baltimore. In his jerseys, whether it's the purple ones, the white ones, the black ones, we've got men's and women's options as well, all sorts of different shapes and sizes. Get yours now with free shipping included as well, and you can have it right in time for the NFL season. What better way to get a jersey than to get a rookie that you can wear for his entire career, right? Go see for yourself. Chatsports.com/Wiggins. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Go get your Nate Wiggins jersey today. Bob Saget checking in. Bob, good to see you. How has Tez Walker looked this offseason? Great question, Bob. We talked earlier about the Ravens' question marks at the receiver position. And you think about this, right? You're going to have Zay Flowers as your number 1. You're going to have Rashad Bateman as your number 2. And then from there, there's an open competition for that number 3 spot, with Nelson Aguilar being the favorite. But Tez Walker really started to come along and emerge with what we saw in mandatory minicamp, and he's been good throughout this process. And keep in mind, too, with the way the NCAA just screwed over Tez Walker at North Carolina, those numbers are deceiving, okay? He would have had much better numbers had he played the full season last year for the Tar Heels. So in the 8 games that he did play, that we did see him out there with Drake May, he still had a very good campaign with nearly 700 yards, 17 yards of reception, still at 7 touchdowns, only 3 drops. Tez Walker is that guy. And I know that, some people had some concerns, and that's why he slipped to the 4th round. It was a loaded receiver draft this year and everything. But I'm all in on Tez Walker. I think that if he continues to build upon what we've seen this offseason, this could be a very good year for Tez Walker to surprise some people. And think about this, all right? The last few years in the NFL, we've seen some very good receivers that weren't necessarily first-round picks. Rashee Rice in Kansas City this past year had over 1,000 yards. Puka Nacua was a all-pro, I think second team, if I remember correctly. He was a Pro Bowler with the Los Angeles Rams this year. The Ravens are hoping that they found that guy that kind of slipped through the cracks, if you will. And I think there's a very good chance that Tez Walker could be that for the Ravens. Who will lead Baltimore in receiving this year? Is it going to be Rashad Bateman? Is it going to be Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely? What do you guys think? Get your predictions in the comment section and let us know who you believe will lead the Ravens in receiving next year. Last question comes in from the Steelers suck. F the Steelers, right? Did the Ravens overpay on Justin Madubuike's new deal? So earlier in the week on the channel, we talked about this offseason report card from ESPN. I never liked report card day. Even if I had good grades, I was still nervous. But the report card from ESPN gave the Ravens a B, and the big thing they didn't like was that they thought the Ravens overpaid for Justin Madubuike. Because let's be honest here, what the Ravens paid for Madubuike was for one great year of production that they saw, right? He was solid in 2022, don't get me wrong. 5.5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, 42 tackles. That was solid. But why they gave him close to $100 million was because of what he did last year. 13 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 12 tackles for loss, 56 tackles. The Ravens are betting on, when it comes to Madubuike, that last year was not a one-hit wonder, that he is going to build upon that, and that this version of Justin Madubuike is here to stay. And personally, I have every reason to think that Justin Madubuike is going to continue to build off that and be a really good player for this Ravens defense for many years to come. It is a gamble, but I think that's one worth taking because if you look around the National Football League with Aaron Donald's retirement, there's just not a ton of great interior defensive linemen. And Justin Madubuike has a chance to be right up there among the best. In fact, he already is, but now continuing to build off that, I have no problem with what the Ravens paid Madubuike because you can't find guys like him just growing on trees everywhere. Give me a bold prediction for the Ravens 2024 season. What is it? Let me know in the comments section. I think mine, I'm going to go with what we talked about earlier with Tez Walker. I think Tez Walker is going to surprise some people and have a pretty decent season. Got a chance to be maybe the number 3 receiver by the end of the year. What do you guys think? Weigh in. Let us know. Subscribe now to Ravens Rundown for continuing Ravens coverage all offseason long. I'm Tyler Jones, and we will see you next time.